back to another session of Daily Current Affairs. My name is Aishwarya and I am representing Gallant IAS. Let's move on to yesterday's previous question, practice question. Now, this was the yesterday's question which I have given. It is about DPT vaccine. I have covered in detail yesterday. Moving on to the first statement, DPT vaccine covered in India has been increasing consistently. Now, look at this graph. Are you seeing anything consistently increasing? No. So, the statement is wrong. But there has been an increase from 91% in 2019 to about 93% this year. That is the DPT vaccine coverage. Purchases is also called whooping cough. Yes, that is a correct statement. So, B only. You can learn more about this in yesterday's video. Moving on to today's topic, we have Indus Water Treaty, BRICS Summit, NATO Summit, why are tomato prices still high, and then we have Helmsley Passport and also manufacturing export system for Airbus today. Moving on to our first topic, that is our Indus Water Treaty. The key term or the thing which you need to know here is what is Indus Water Treaty and what is this article referring today. This is a very important topic that comes in GS2, which is dealing with the bilateral relationship between India and Pakistan. So, this Indus Water Treaty was signed in September 1960 and it was mediated by World Bank, that is between India and Pakistan. Now, this whole treaty is based upon the sharing of water that is specifically Indus water and its 5 tributaries, water of 5 tributaries between India and Pakistan. So, there are some clauses mentioned under this treaty. The first one is water sharing. The western waters, that is the Indus, Chenab and Jhelum. See here, Indus, Jhelum and Chenab. These 3 rivers is used by Pakistan. Pakistan can use unrestricted amount of water from these 3 rivers. In case of India, that is the western rivers, Ravi, Satluj and Beas, that is unrestricted use of these rivers to India. But you see here, just a little portion of the river goes through India. That it means that 80% of the Indus water is utilized by Pakistan and just a minimal amount of 20% is utilized by India. Now, there are other 3 more clauses mentioned in this treaty. That is a permanent Indus commission that has been created with the members and experts of India and Pakistan. They have to meet at least once a year. They review the water, they do everything that is related to the Indus Water Treaty review. Even India has to inform this committee about what all projects or activity India is doing or Pakistan is doing in these rivers. Rights over rivers. You see, there is Indus. All the rivers actually pass through India. India can, what do is that India can create a run of the river projects, like there is Kishanganga project in India, Rattle projects in Chenab River in India. In this case, the India or Pakistan as a party cannot store the water, but they can use the water for generation of electricity that is not related to any kind of storage at all. They can generate electricity and then maintain the flow of that river as well. That is the right over the rivers in case of both India and Pakistan. Dispute resolution mechanism. In this treaty, there are 3 methods of dispute resolution. One, they can resolve via this permanent Indus commission. If still the dispute is not resolved, they can approach the World Bank and World Bank can actually appoint a neutral expert committee to check into the issues between India and Pakistan. Even if this hasn't resolved a dispute, then they are referred to the Court of Arbitration. Now, Pakistan in January has gone to the Court of Arbitration. That is what this whole article is about. Pakistan actually initiated arbitration in January, the Permanent Court of Arbitration, that is in Hague, Netherlands. And Pakistan is claiming about the 2 issues, that is the run-off projects, mill projects in India, that is Kishanganga project and Rattle hydroelectric project. This Kishanganga is a tributary of Jhelum, and the Rattle is actually a tributary of Rattle project is actually in Chenab. Kishanganga is a tributary of Jhelum and Kishanganga run of the electric project is situated there. This is that here the Kishanganga water is actually diverted to another channel and then the flow is retained back to the Pakistan region. In this area there is a tunnel through which the electricity is generated by the India. Also, this is actually the Rattle project situated in our Chenab River. India has actually rejected the claims of Pakistan, stating it that the Permanent Court of Arbitration is not that liable to actually solve the problems or the queries that is raised by Pakistan. In July, this Court of Arbitration has told that the court can actually solve the issues of Pakistan and rejected the claims made by India. Also, in the author also mentions here the problems between the bilateral treaties. In the case of a bilateral treaty which is made by two countries, they actually talk about a fixed amount of water that is given to the other country as well. Like this actually costs that can be used for our agriculture or industry. But with the climate change, there is a change in water patterns that is available for agriculture and industry as well. Thus, there is a vulnerability of climate change in water allocation that is actually affecting our agriculture and industry. So, the author is mentioning that there should be a review mechanism in this treaty stating to the equitable and reasonable utilization of water, and also ensure that no harm is ensured to the other country. Both India and Pakistan actually follow this equitable and research utilization, but this no harm rule is not followed by neither of the countries. This both rule comes under this Convention on Law of the Non-Navigational Use of International Water Resource 1997. It also refers to a climate change. Okay, so this is what the author has been saying, that in our Indus Water Treaty, this convention should also be followed and it should be enclosed so that there is equitable water use between India and Pakistan. Now, moving on to our next topic. Putin will not travel to South Africa for BRICS Summit. The BRICS Summit is to be hosted in South Africa, and last time also Putin has not joined for G20 meeting, he has attended virtually. So, Putin, our Russian president, is going to actually virtually attend our South African summit. There is actual issue is that South Africa is also a member of our International Criminal Court. We know that International Criminal Court has given out a warrant against Putin, making it as he has been doing war crime. So, South Africa is actually put in a difficult situation by the ICC. Now, in this we need to know two key terms, that is BRICS and ICC. BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, which is founded in 2009 and is headquartered in Shanghai region. Now, this is a group of the world's leading emerging countries, that Brazil, India, China, Russia and South Africa are 5 emerging economies in India. This BRICS term was actually coined by a British economist called Jim O'Neill, that is in 2001. Now, what is the share of BRICS here? The BRICS represent 41% of the global population and also 24% of the global GDP, 16% of the global trade, and is expected to make 35% of the global economy in 2028. So, you see, BRICS is a very large economy representing 41% of the global population, 24% of the global GDP and 16% of the global trade. So, there are annual chairmanships. Presently, as it is conducted in South Africa is a chairman. Initiative taken by BRICS. They have created New Development Bank. We have actually studied more on that. Contingency Reserve Fund, that is for bailing out short-term balance of payment crisis. BRICS payment system, this was created against our international cross-border mechanism, SWIFT bank. And also customs agreement and remote sensing satellites. 6 satellites has been sent by the BRICS totally. Now, they are also planning to launch their new currency and destabilize or de-dollarize the US dollars, like to limit the use and increase the using of their own currency. Now, that is about BRICS, which key terms and things which you need to know. Now, moving forward about International Court of Judges, it is the only permanent international criminal court tribunal in the world and it's headquartered in The Hague, Netherlands. It was created via 1998 Rome Statute in the International Criminal Court. It also investigates, it gives out warrants and tries individuals with charged with gravest crime of concern like war crime, genocide, etc. That is how the Russian President Vladimir Putin has been given the warrant of war crimes created by him. There are presently 123 nations which are state parties, but US, China, Russia and India are not parties to this ICC. You have to remember, US, China, Russia and India are not part to ICC. Moving forward, what are the takeaways from the NATO summit? This is actually a very small article. You need to know the keys, what is about NATO and what this article is talking about. NATO is created via the Washington Treaty of April 1949 by the US, Canada and several other Western countries. It is headquartered in Belgium, Brussels and Belgium. And they promote the democratic values and also cooperation in military and defense and ensuring security between the nation, and also solving any political crisis that is arising in between the nations in NATO countries. In the NATO countries, all the members join together in to face any military threat or such. These are all the NATO countries. Finland is the latest member to join, and Sweden is actually action pending ratification. Recently, Turkey has lifted its ban on Sweden joining NATO. Thus, Sweden is to join NATO recently, and Finland is added as the new members. So, what was the discussions in the article? The recent summit of NATO was created in Vilnius, that is in Lithuania. Okay. They were also talking about the possibility of expanding the NATO membership to other countries also. Now, there were three priorities argument that was given by the Ukrainian President Zelensky that was rejected. They wanted more weapons, they wanted more security, and also membership in NATO. These three were actually rejected, but UK has pledged that they will give ammunition support to Ukraine as well. So, these were the major outcomes of NATO regarding Ukraine. They had also concerns about the growing challenge and threat that is emerging from China and the Indo-Pacific region in their economy, global economy as well. They also talked about expanding Quad. We know the Quad 4 members are India, Japan, Australia and USA. They were talking about the expansion of Quad to include New Zealand and South Korea as well. So, that is on the NATO summit article. Moving on, why are the tomato prices still high? The RBI has recently mentioned about the volatility of tomato prices and the contribution of it to the overall economy on how the inflation level is rising just in the case of tomato. Now, the tomato 50% production comes from these four states like Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Odisha and Gujarat. Now, you see here, this was the production of tomatoes in 2019-20, about 21 million. This has been gradually declining. These are still high, but it is not enough to actually maintain the demand that is arising in India. So, this article actually talks about two reasons why the tomato prices are still high. One, that is extreme weather events, and the other is like the farmers made a very bad choice in actually how to sell the tomatoes as well. So, in the first, the weather events happened like there was heat waves, delayed monsoons and such, which actually shifted the cropping patterns, and also infection with pests, which actually gradually reduced the price of the tomatoes to just 6 to 11 rupees per kg. The second is that the farmers panicking this sold what all the tomatoes they could find, and the others actually abandoned their crops tomato. This actually led to a cause of rising demand and reducing supply, thus increasing the food inflation and price levels in India. See here, after this article there is NABARD study. Came out the study last month, noted that the tomato is the most volatile crop out of the group of TOP, that is tomato, onion and potato. These three are actually volatile crops and their demand varies according seasonality and how it happens. But out of these three, tomato is the most perishable and it is vulnerable to even small amount of climate change. Onion and potatoes can even withstand further. In this top, out of our CPI index, there is CPI index, and out of the CPI index, about 45.86% go to food and beverages. Inside this food and beverages, vegetables is actually has a very low weightage, and that too in the vegetables inside, tomato, onion and potato top has a very low weightage. But this tomato, which has a very low weightage in CPI index, has been driving the entire inflation in the CPI index. That is what the NABARD study has given out. Also, the author mentions about some remedies that could be made, like improving the value based and supply chain. Like tomatoes are perishable, so you need better cold chain facility for storage. And when there is a dip in tomato, this cold chain can actually provide tomato which is already stored. Okay, thus ensuring the supply and demand is still maintained and the prices could come low. And also about market forced collaborations in case of tomato and more processing unit, which could at least 10% tomatoes could be diverted to tomato paste and purees, and this could be mainly integrated by cold chain developments. Moving on to our next topic, this is a prelims based small topic. India climbs 7 points to 80 on passport index. It specifically talks about Henley Password Index, which is actually given out by Henley and Password. It talks about the improving rank of India from about 87 to 80, a 7 minus plus jump from 2022 to 2023. Okay. Thus, with this, India can actually visit 57 countries visa free. So, Henley Passport Index usually talks about the number of countries that a specific country like India can visit without any passports. In this, about 199 passports are included and about 227 travel destinations are also mentioned. Usually we have seen that Japan was the most powerful nation in LNC passport. But this year there has been a change in Japan going down to 3rd place and Singapore emerging as the most powerful passport in the world. Singapore can travel to around 192 travel destinations out of the 227 travel destinations. In the 2nd place come Germany, Italy and Spain. They have the 2nd most powerful passport. The 3rd is Japan, Australia, Luxembourg, France, Finland, South Korea and Sweden. So these are some of the key takeaways from this article. Now this is our last topic. Manufacturing ecosystem for Airbus C295 aircraft taking shape in India. Now in September 2021, the Defence Minister has ordered about 56 C295 MW, that is a transport aircraft that is used in our Indian Air Force, and it is worth of 22,000 crore and it is done with a deal with Airbus and that with Spain. So out of this 16 aircraft will be manufactured in Selvilly, that is in Spain, and the 40 aircraft will be manufactured in India along with the support of Airbus and Tata Advanced System Limited. The final assembly will be set up in Vadodara, that is in Gujarat. Also the first aircraft manufacturing will be installed from September 2026. These are some of the key takeaways, and this is the C295 transport vehicle that is used in IAF, Indian Air Force. Now let's look on to some of the previous year questions. With reference to the Indus River system, of the following views, 3 of them pour into one another and join the Indus directly. The correct answer here is Satluj. Now there are other water treaties. These are also mains question. Present an account of the Indus Water Treaty and examines ecological, economic and political importance in the context of changing bilateral relations. This was asked in 2016, which means that this issue, that is the Indus Water Treaty, is a very important issue which you need to comprehensively cover. Now please work out this topic in mains and you could contact us for any more information regarding this. Consider the next question. Consider the following statement. New Development Bank has been set up by APAC. No, we told that New Development Bank was set up by BRICS. The headquarters of New Development Bank is in Shanghai. That is true. Which of the following is given are correct? 2 only. Consider the following statement about NATO. This is a practice question which I have been assigned to you. Please mention your answer down in the comment. Presently, there are 31 members in the NATO. Analyze it. The NATO headquarters are located in the Supreme Allied Commander, which resides in Bolula Leopard 3 in Brussels, Belgium. North Macedonia is the latest member to join NATO. Please mention your answers in the comments below, and you can get this PDF in our Telegram channel, Gallant IAS Pathashala. Please stay tuned for more, and I will be back with more tomorrow. Thank you.